Good morning. Today is the 27th of August and this is Knebworth House near Stevenage. We're not here actually for the architecture, although we are maybe slightly here for the film history of this place. We're here for the Classic Motor Show. But just very briefly, Knebworth House has been a family home for the Lytton family for quite a while. The stuff I'm most interested in about this place is not so much the place, although it is fascinating and I recommend coming here. It's actually the films and television series that were filmed here from sort of 1950s onwards. Particularly things like The Champions in 1967, The Avengers in 1967 as well, Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, which used this very part through this gate, and other bits of the house, the very last episode filmed, which is called Somebody Just Walked Over My Grave. Numerous things in the 70s and the 80s and right up until today. You might recognise it actually that it was used in the Batman film, which was made in 1989. That's enough with film and television history and architecture. We're just looking at some cars. I do apologise in advance, viewers, for the wind noise, for the incorrect information that's going to happen, for the commentary that's going to be over the top of it, for music and things like that. There's nothing really I can do about that sort of thing. And oh yes, in 2 days' time, at the time of recording, the Mayor of London is going to expand the ultra low emission zone in London. Thank you very much indeed, Mayor of London. That means we can't talk about diesels, as we haven't been doing for the last 5 years on the channel. Well, viewers, this show looks even bigger than it did last year, so how many parts will there be over the next 2 days? I have no idea. Last time there were 11. There might be even more this time. I'll just have to keep going. If you don't like that sort of thing, then we'll turn the video off now. We've got a 1949 Cadillac here. There's quite a few American cars here. There seems to be a very vibrant American car community in this area. I always find when I come up here. I mean, that is very, very nice indeed. I don't really know much about this sort of thing, viewers, but we'll see a lot of American cars and a lot of ignorance from me at this show, I imagine. That's generally what happens during these slightly shambolic shuffles. They are called shambolic for a reason. It's a very nice biscuit leather interior, viewers, but you know, so I prefer a beige one myself, but most of you already know that, and we will find one of those, I'm sure. Chevy Impala. I imagine this is from the sort of early 60s. A little crack in the window, we'll take a look through there. There we go. Maybe like a 62, 63, I'm not sure. 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback. I think someone's put some seats from a completely different car in there, actually. Look nice and comfortable. Then we've got a Series 2 E-Type here. This looks like it was originally registered in Montana in 1970. Nice kind of bronzy colour this. This is an auto. Of course you get a manual. Side marker lights on this one with the exposed headlamps. And we have the rival to the Chevy Impala, the Ford Galaxy. This is a 64. Apparently originally registered in Missouri. Galaxy 500. I never remember what the trim levels used to mean on the Galaxy, I'm afraid, viewers. Do apologise, but I'm afraid ignorance is the order of the day when it comes to the shambolic shuffles. That's why we always apologise at the beginning and end for all the incorrect information which will inevitably happen. 1958. Something. It says Super on it. My gosh, this is big, isn't it? It's a big old thing. Buick Super, I imagine. Yes, I think we've seen this before, this 67 Chevy Camaro with an absolutely enormous engine developing 950 horsepower. Don't want to be sucked in there, do you? That's It's going to not go well for you if you get sucked in there. Ooh, a replica bullet car. Excellent. Wondering how long it was going to be to see one of these. And there is Mr. Steve McQueen. It's very serious. Some posters for Bullet. Goodness me. That is absolutely exquisite, isn't it? So is this, I presume this is a GT40 replica, because the real ones you don't tend to actually see at shows. But a Testarossa. 1987-88. Now, does this have a beige leather interior, viewers? Oh, yes, it does. First one of the day, actually. And a very old Motorola brick. My mother had one of those, actually. In the early 90s, she had a Motorola brick like that. That's immaculate, isn't it, a Testarossa? Then we've got something that's a bit more up my street. We were talking about television series filmed in the 60s at Knebworth. I'm not even sure if they ever used this place in the state. Possibly they did. I can't remember now. I'd have to check the list I've got somewhere of things that are filmed at Knebworth. But this is, I think, a replica of one of the Volvos used in this series. There were several. There were at least 4, if not more, actually. This looks like one of the later ones. We haven't got the cow horn bumpers or anything on this. We've got this sort of mini light style wheels. But yes, I'd say, what a date, it's about 67. The latest ones I used in the series, which finished production in 68, were 67s. Like NUV 647E and then UV 648E, which one of those was Roger's personal car. Ford Crown Victoria, replica kind of New York City type thing. This looks pretty good. We've already seen the hats on the parcel shelf, plenty of those. Personal plates, I'm not exactly sure if it is a 2006 or 7. Could be, I suppose. Let me move on to some British cars. 2 very, very nice Ford Consul Capris. We've seen plenty of these at shows over the course of the summer. They were only made from 61 to 64. They didn't make for a lot of money. In fact, they were very expensive to make. And the styling went out of fashion really, really quickly. Now, these days, these look like incredibly handsome cars. But they were based on sort of late 50s American styling. And by 64, when they were discontinued, they looked a bit old-fashioned, but they look great, don't they? Both of them together. This is the GT that'll have the bigger engine. I think I actually prefer this one. I just prefer the colour. I mean, the interior and everything's nice, but I prefer this one just because of the colour. It just looks ever so sort of early 60s, doesn't it? Ford Consul Classic was the other one made on this platform, similar in styling, but that lasted even less time. It lasted up to 2.5 years, I think. But we've got some TV type stuff. We've got, I think, one of the sort of replicas, or possibly one of the screen used Reliant Regal Supervan 3s from Only Fools and Horses. I know that's the original one. I should know this actually, because I've seen this one before. But you know, there we go. That inflatable phone on the bonnet there. Got some merchandise we can buy, but we haven't got time for any of that, viewers. We need to go on to this Mini. I wonder if this is a screen used Mini. It doesn't actually say. The one that was used in various episodes of the series was SLW287R, although they used quite a number of actual Minis. This one's sort of decked out in some do-it-yourself Mr. Bean style. Got the old tweed jackets here. Definitely the right kind of sort of era, judging by the rear lights and things. And then yes, we've got the mop and things. But that steering wheel looks a lot newer than the car is. Hello, Teddy. 1967-68 Aston Martin DB6. That does look rather nice to you. That would be a most agreeable car to have a go in, I think. Eric equipped. What does that mean? Someone's smartening up this 63 Thunderbird here. It does look very nice. And of course, yes, it's a Bluesmobile. 1974 Dodge Monaco. 12 of them. And then this one, I think it's just a replica. You can see the information here if you just pause the video and just take a look. So all were destroyed, so yeah, it's a replica. I think Mr. Richardson has driven this, hasn't he, on Furious Driving? I think he's had a go in this. One of his sort of ambitions in life, and I think he has had a go in it. Yeah, that does look so sort of just right, doesn't it? Right, viewers, we're going to have to look at these individual entries down here because there's absolutely tons of them, and if we don't start, we're never going to end. I apologise, viewers, for, as we get closer to the arena, there are going to be music tracks, and you know, there will be announcements. I'm not more annoyed about them than you are because I had 3 videos demonetised actually here because of the music. Yeah, never mind. Ooh, very nice. Renault Clio Williams 93-94 registration. I wonder if this is a Williams 3. As you can see from here, we've got, is that Andy Pandy in there? We've got sort of blue seat belts, blue thing on top of the gear lever. Yeah, there was 1, 2 and 3 with the Williams Clios. The Renault F-Type engine, 2-litre capacity and some gold wheels. Next to it, 1969-70 Austin Mini. This looks to me, gosh, like a sort of Bitzer actually. It's got Mark III doors on it, which suggests that it is, but it's got Mark I rear lights, so I don't actually know exactly what this is. I think it's probably a very early Mark III, but it's had some Mark I bits put on it, I would say. Ford Orion, 1987-88. Those wheels obviously not standard, they're not standard at all. But I like seeing Orions. I prefer the Orion to the Mark IV Escort, to be honest. That's a controversial opinion, but I have many controversial opinions. 1970-71 MGB. She doesn't look too bad with those sorts of aftermarket wheels on there. I imagine we're going to see quite a few of these as we go around, aren't we? Another one of these Volvo 1800, this is 1800E, so it's even later than the 800S we saw, the sort of Saint replica car. They made these until I think it was about 71, and then we had the 800ES, which was the sort of estate type one, which continued to 73. This Mustang I saw coming in, it's a 67 on an E. Which is nice. Then we've got MG RV8. I don't know what year this is. They only made them, I think, from about 92 to about 95, I'd like to say. It's something like that. And of course, viewers, it has a beige leather interior with wood. I do like a nice beige leather interior. I also like this Triumph Stag, sort of funny plate on this. Makes it difficult to identify exactly what year it is. It's probably a Mark II. Yeah, it is. You can tell because of the interior lights and being in a different place from the Mark I's. That's the way I tell them apart anyway. Because people, you know, people change the chrome cells, they change the panel at the back, painted body colour or black and all sorts of things. So they can be real sort of bits as Stags. The interior lights don't tend to change. Now this is rare. This isn't an MG Midget. This is a Sprite, an Austin Healey Sprite, 1968-69 on a G. So it's similar to the MG Midget Mark III. They made these until about 1970, and then they made Austin Sprite for just for 71. Because I think Donald Healey wouldn't renew the licence for them to buy badge for cars Austin Healey's or something like that. But yeah, they're very similar. I have driven a midget, a 68, similar to this one. That was a bit of a pain because it had a non-synchro first gear and no servo-assisted brakes. But you get used to such things. I think we're going to have to skip that Saab, viewers. I have a feeling that's got an engine in it we can't talk about. Thank you, Mayor of London, once again. 2 days to go. I do like this Jaguar though, viewers. Very nice. Yes, it's an X308, which is the V8 engine version, XJ Sport. 1998, 1999, so quite early actually for the X308s. It's got a sort of cream interior rather than a beige one, I think, really, I'd say. And yeah, it's not got all the chrome. I like more chrome personally, so I'd probably go for a different model, but XJ Sport's also nice. 78, 79 MGB Roadster. I can't remember the colour now, actually. Somebody tell me in the comment section. Another Series 2 E-Type, this time right-hand drive. Again on an H, so 69 to 70. What's up with Series 2s with a sort of big open grille do look a bit weird. Then we've got a 996 911 here. With no plate on the front. Biscuit interior rather than a beige one. This is a Tiptronic. It might just be in like a normal Carrera 2 actually. This is Millennium Edition. I think I've heard of that. Number 39. So I presume around 2000 or 1990, something like that. The Carrera 2 that I drove was a Tiptronic like this. It was a 2000, so ran that kind of an era as well, although it wasn't quite as nice as this. It's TVR here. It looks to me like a 3000M, but I could be totally wrong. It could be something else entirely. TVR model names are not my strong suit, viewers. So yeah, 76, 77, that one is. Built in Blackpool. And the first of probably many Mark II Ford Granadas. This is an unusual one. It's got, I think it's a facelift grille, but pre-facelift door mirrors. So I imagine this is just a very late pre-facelift one for about 1981. With just a facelift grille. Particularly the back end does look different. It's just a 2.3L, the sort of most basic type with the V6 engine. But that's pretty agreeable anyway. Lots of classic Fords the other end of the field. There's a club of them, but we'll see that an awful lot later. We've got a lot of things to do before then. 1982-83 Ford Fiesta with pepper pots. I think these are the same wheels you'd have on an XR2, but this I don't think is actually an XR2. Still nice though, a nice facelifted one. Then we've got W126 S-Class here with headlamp wiper action. And that's the 500 SE, very nice, but not the long wheelbase one then. Don't know what year it is, probably late 80s. Oh, we're Bentley, I think this is an Arnage. I think we've got a very nice interior. Yes, we have. Look at that, viewers. One of the ultimate in beige leather interiors with wood. Yes, please. Very sumptuous pleats on the seat there. Very, very nice. Also quite nice is the Silver Shadow 2. Headlamp wipers, it's definitely a 2 because it's got the deeper front spoiler on it. That's also very nice. 1965 Ford Mustang, next to, gosh, is that Chevy Nomad they call them? I can't remember. How do we continue with this Mustang, shall we? It's obviously got some power, hasn't it? GT363 it says. I think it's called a Nomad this. I'm really bad on American cars. I don't even know why I'm here in a way, because it's full of American cars. So get more ignorance and shambolic commentary, of course. 72-73 Dodge Challenger. I'm getting the vibes from Vanishing Point, which I have seen, and a 440 Magnum engine in this one as well. Presume people who brought all these cars know each other or something. And a Plymouth Sports Satellite. I don't know why Plymouth thought it was a good idea to call a car a Satellite. It's a bit strange to my ears anyway, but you know, there we go. What's this on a G? So 69 to 70. Oh, 69 is that what my one is. The colour's interesting, isn't it? Porsche 911 Carrera, just before the 964s came out. I think it's about 1988-89 those came out, so maybe 87, something like that. Oh, talking of Mark IV Ford Escorts, here is one. That's also on a Essex plate. It could potentially be registered by Ford themselves, I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, we are quite close to Essex where we are, so it could have just been supplied by a local dealer back in the day. Apparently it's an 88 1.4 LX. It's very nice actually. Something considerably more expensive back in the day, but from about the same era, is this Audi A4. Oh, someone's put it with a beige leather interior. An Audi A4 with a beige leather interior. Does it actually get any better than that in life, viewers? It's quite a late one because of all these sort of smoked indicators, things like that. More classic Ford action here. Mark II Ford Zephyr Zodiac. It's a 1960, this one. 3 Graces. 3-speed manual column change. There it is. Complete respray. Imperial maroon over Chateau Grey. That does look rather nice, viewers, but my eye is kind of drawn a little bit more to this Peugeot 309 GTI Goodwood. The exhaust are probably a little bit bigger than normal, but everything else, this is actually the original colour for these wheels as well. That is rather nice. I'm not so sure I'd personally go for that gear lever and that steering wheel if it were me, but apart from that, that is very, very sort of correct and very nice. About 93, I should think. Talking of the sort of Avengers connection right at the beginning of this part, Lotus Europa, the same colour as the one that was used in the Avengers in 1968. This is a slightly later car than that. That was a 68. This one, I presume, is a 70 Series 2, so it'll have the electric windows and things in it. Incredibly low cars, like it looks about my waist or something. How are you get in and out of that gracefully? I really don't know. I presume you just kind of manage. Saab 900 Cabrio with a Sensonic gearbox. Wow, those are rare. Clutchless manual, you know, one of the kind of very first, I think. It's a 95. That is it's a rare sight, isn't it? 2001 MGF, I believe that's probably a 160 trophy. Looking at that, it could just be a freestyle or something like that, but trophies have normally a badge on the back or something. It is yet a 160 trophy. I surprise even myself sometimes, viewers. I don't get things constantly wrong. We're a Chrysler Sebring convertible. Now these are very rare. I have driven one of these. It wasn't a convertible. It had possibly some of the cheapest feeling interior plastic I've ever seen in my life, I'm afraid. That's what 2009 to 10. They kind of wonder why Chrysler don't market cars in this country anymore, but never mind. Wow, a Cadillac XLR. I don't think I've ever seen one of these before in real life. I have heard of them. If I've seen one before, it probably would have been here. That's a 2007. I can't remember what it was actually based on underneath. It was something else in General Motors lineup. But that is just extraordinary. It's a very striking looking car, isn't it? Next to it is something else that's also striking. I think this is in the lease. These are, it's the Series 2. It's about the time they went to the Toyota engines because the K-Series stopped being made in 2005, so they had to come up with the alternative engine that was already being used in America. But yeah, they're pretty fast. 1964 Riley 1.5. This is like a very posh restyled version of the Morris Minor, effectively, with the V1.5 engine, hence the name. And that is very nice, isn't it? Because it's a Riley, you can get a rev counter and wood and biscuit leather. Do apologise to our viewers, got interrupted by a channel viewer. Happens sometimes. I don't like being recognised at shows, really. 2016 Dodge Challenger 375 Hemi RT. I think you can sort of still buy one of these, actually. They're based on an ancient sort of Mercedes platform from when Chrysler and Mercedes were the same company back between, I think, 98 and 2008. Doesn't matter though, I mean, that's got a massive Hemi engine in it. Oh, I wish I wouldn't play the music that loud, viewers. It's very bad for my commentary. Not that my commentary's great anyway. 6970 Triumph Vitesse is a BV Mark II with a 2-litre engine. I've done a walk around on one of these, which is also a 2-litre one. It wasn't the convertible, it was the saloon. And then 1963 Ford Fairlane Sports Coupe. I imagine that's where you fill it, actually, just in the middle at the back there. That's interesting. I mean, it doesn't, to me, sort of look particularly sort of sporty. It kind of looks like the moment you go around the corner, it's going to sort of lean quite considerably like most of the American cars of the time. But, you know, I appreciate the sentiment nevertheless. Ooh, a TVR. It's a very late. It's a Tuscan Mark II 2005. These finished production in 2006, so yeah, we're late one of these. Hopefully we'll see some other nice TVRs here, hopefully complete with beige leather interior, because we're doing a nice line in beige leather interiors. I'm a Cerberus V 4.5-litre engine, this one. I just love the way the dials are arranged in a sort of haphazard sort of way inside. Awful lot of power, these, like stupid amounts of power. Okay. Oh, this is a sort of later one with the 4.5 TVR AJP engine. So 0 to 60 going 3.9 seconds, yes indeed. E46 M3 here. Is this a CSL? I'm not entirely sure, viewers, I'm afraid. Possibly. And then another one of these Cobra replicas. We've got some Ford switchgear in here as well, but we've got a Chevy engine in there. Don't know what year that is. Ferrari 430. Let's get this right, viewers, before we get accused of being completely ignorant, which you know, in some ways would be a fair criticism. What year that is, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I think that'll do for part one of a slightly shambolic shuffle around the 2023 Knebworth Classic Motor Show. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like us in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more incorrect information.